trying to sway you cause I ain't got all the answers. I'm just trying to convey to you, I be taking some chances. If my shit don't pertain to you, you can check out your man shit. You ain't teach us a damn thing, you ain't give us the game. We was giving you signals, but you ain't give us a lane.
Welcome to another episode of I Don't Have the Answers, but let's talk about it anyway. I'm your host, Tim, the Answer Man 4. And I want to thank you for joining me. A couple weeks ago, a friend of mine decided to start something up at work where we talked about the things we're thankful for. Every Thursday. She called it Thankful Thursday. And it's the reason for this week's show. I'm thankful for a lot of things. As I reflected back on this year, I realized that there's a lot of people out there that may not be. With all the terrible things that have happened around the world, it's kind of hard to look at life and be positive or thankful. Just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I'm going to read off a list of things that have happened in this past year. There are others, but this is just the ones that I found. There were protests and fires, drone strikes, volcano eruptions, impeachment trial, COVID-19, stock market plunged, COVID-19, train derails, Ebola, somebody blamed a pandemic on China, flash floods, plane crashes in Pakistan, more protests, COVID-19, more flooding, Twitter gets hacked, exploding fertilizer in Beirut, COVID-19, Kobe, Olympics postponed, few royals toss out royalty, Ukrainian plane crash, Pakistan plane crash, COVID-19, murder hornets, yeah, that was the thing, Wakanda forever, wildfires, fighting everywhere, knife fight in church, COVID-19, Chinese threat of war, more protests, no more maple syrup in Hong Kong. You're just going to have to read about that one yourself. Earthquakes, missionaries getting kidnapped, COVID-19, dead pets found in boxes in a Chinese, just crazy. Surfers poisoned in Russia. Yeah, there were a few animals dead too. So with all that negative happening, how can we be thankful? Well, that's just it. We have to be thankful that we're here to remember those things. Yeah, we went through a lot. But those of us that are here to talk about it have a lot to be thankful for. There were some great things that happened this year too. For the first time in quite a while, the pet adoption rate in the United States increased significantly, meaning that people opened their hearts and their homes up to animals in need. Businesses around the world halted production of their own products and started creating things that could help and make a difference. Teachers earned the respect that they deserved for the work that they do. Personally, I think that all kindergarten teachers should be tax exempt for the rest of their life. If you've never had to homeschool a kindergartner, don't. Healthcare workers and first responders and essential employees are all hailed as heroes for doing the things that they've done every day, before and since. Drive-in movies make a comeback. Now, if you don't think that's good news, shame on you. Drive-in movies are awesome. A Nigerian and Irish team of teenagers develop an app people living with dementia. That's amazing. Africa is declared polio free. Families around the world unite, come together, posting signs of support and love in their front yards, on their homes, on their cars, on their clothing, and share it with the world. Pollution declines. In Venice, you can actually see fish in the canals. Satellite imagery over Asia shows air pollution reducing. They're singing from the balconies in Italy. If you haven't seen that video, it's pretty amazing. Artists perform live for free to entertain us. Worldwide icons become beacons of solidarity. If you haven't seen the images of the statue of Christ in Brazil, lit up with all of those flags from all these different countries, look it up. It's pretty amazing. We had families that sat down together each night and talked, shared time. We had families coming together to help one another, even if it meant just going to the grocery store to help get the things necessary for another family member that couldn't get out. Donations skyrocketed in some areas. We made positive impacts on people's lives. Great things happened this year, in spite of the negative. Earlier this week, I talked to my aunt about a show that I did about toxic positivity. And she questioned me about some of the things I discussed, saying that just because you're thinking positive doesn't mean you forget the negative. And I wanted to point out that she's right. I wasn't talking about all people that think positive. I was talking about the ones that only think about the positive and ignore the negative. That's not what I'm talking about today. I want you all to be thankful for the fact that we've got to this point. Be thankful for the fact that we have succeeded in some regard. I'm thankful for the fact that so many people showed up at the polls to vote this year. Regardless of the outcome and what happens in this civil war and civil unrest that people are talking about on social media, regardless of all those things, we showed up. There's a lot of positive that happened this year. Be thankful for it. What are you thankful for? Tell me all about it. Share. There's a lot of people out there that are thinking too much about the negative things that happened this year, and that's driving the way that they are going to be acting. They can use your feedback. So, comment, talk about this, share amongst yourselves what you're thankful for. Maybe you can be that beacon of hope and solidarity. Maybe you can share that one piece of yourself and what you're thankful for that makes a difference to someone else. I scroll through social media and I see things all the time where people are talking about fighting against suicide. Things that can be done to help those that are having those thoughts. All the different support groups. You can be that difference to someone else who's having those thoughts. If you share with them why you're thankful, maybe it'll remind them why they should be thankful. I mean, I could be wrong. We've all heard me say it before. I don't have the answers. But I'll talk about it anyway. Thank you, folks, and have a wonderful week.
The boy is off Broadway.